We're talking about the Little Red Dress Project. Hello and welcome. I'm Akram Birth, and you're watching Akram's Ideas, bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. This episode, the last episode of 2020, can you believe it? Today is New Year's Eve, and we are finally putting 2020 behind us and looking forward to 2021. With that said, I wanted to share the reveal of my dress that I made for the Little Red Dress Project, or should I say dresses, and I will tell you all about the trials and errors that I had with both these projects. So, if you're unfamiliar with this challenge, this was hosted by Bernina, the Twilight Stitcher, on YouTube and Instagram. And basically the challenge just had you whip up a red dress for the festive season of December. And if you're only now hearing about it and you've got some spare time, the challenge doesn't actually end until January 1st. So you still have time to participate in the Little Red Dress Project. Back in November, I shared with you sort of a sneak peek of what my plans were going to be as far as fabric. And I said in the plans video that I wanted to make something comfy and cozy. You know, we were having a really chilled Christmas this year, and I didn't want something too fussy, and I wanted something easy to wear. And I really wanted to make something out of jersey, but I didn't have the red jersey that I really wanted. I couldn't find something like bright red. And I looked through my wovens and I found this tomato red quilting cotton that had little red hearts or little white hearts all over it. And I thought, you know what, I will just attempt to make something out of woven. It'll be fine. I'm sure I've got a pattern that's just as casual and easy to wear as any knit project that I could have made. And I found the perfect pattern. In my pattern stash, I actually had the Melrose dress from Itch to Stitch Patterns. It's a dress or top. If you're familiar with the Tilly and the Buttons Bateen dress, it's a very similar setup. So it's basically a top here that is cut on the fold, the front and the back. It's got grown on sleeves, and then it's got sort of a pencil skirt type shape of the skirt, and it's got an elastic casing that gets put in between the seams of the bodice top and the skirt. It's a really easy make because, like I said, the sleeves and the bodice are one piece. You only have one for the front and back. There are no closures. It's all cut on the fold, and you basically just slip it on over your head. And I knew that this style was going to be just really casual, and I've been meaning to make this dress for quite a long time because I thought that even though it's a comfy, cozy, easy to wear, I thought if you could mix it up with different fabrics and stuff and different trimmings, you could really make it something a little bit extra. So I went ahead and made the dress. The dress does have pockets. It's really lovely. And after I added the collar and the cuffs, I started looking at it, and my husband looked at it and said, "You are going to add some lace, aren't you?" I have been watching Evelyn Wood's channel for a long time now, and she is always sewing with this vintage aesthetic of lace and trimmings and really doing a lot of refashioning just by adding lace and trim. And since I'd been watching all those, I've been talking about it all the time, but I've never really done it. And I had a bunch of lace in my stash, so my husband suggested that this would be the perfect project to do this with. And that is what I did. I added a cotton lace all the way around the collar. Ideally, the lace on the sleeves should have gone above the cuff, but I just added it at the end of the cuff. And you can't see it here, but maybe if I pull up, I have a little white lace around the end of the skirt. I also added the little accents right here of the faux buttons. They're little white hearts, little pearl hearts. I call it my Mrs. Claus dress. I kind of feel like Mrs. Claus in this dress. I love it. I love it all. I cut a straight 14 because I knew there was some ease. One of the reasons I also went with itch to stitch patterns is because as you all know, I've had a lot of fitting issues this year, and itch to stitch patterns has cup sizes. So I went with this pattern because I could do the 14 C cup, and that makes all the difference. One of the best things that I love about itch to stitch pattern is the measurement from the shoulder to the bust point in the C cup is exactly my measurement. A lot of patterns are a little bit shorter. I guess the bust is the bust point's a little bit higher, and mine's just kind of droopy. I don't know about that, but that 11 1/4, I think it's something along that lines, is just the right length for me. And so I knew that this dress was going to fit fairly well, straight out of the box, straight size 14. And it did. It fit really well. There were a few things that I did not take into account. One was the sleeve. And again, if you've watched my channel before, you know that I've got problems with sleeves being too tight a lot of times. And this wasn't too tight. It just could be a little bit bigger. So I believe it had about a 1/2 inch of ease to what I needed, and typically they tell you to have about 1 inch or 1.5 inches around the bicep. So it wasn't bad, but it could have been better. So I just felt like I needed just a little bit more in the sleeve. And then I think the only other thing is that the skirt is kind of a pencil skirt, and it wasn't tight around the hips, but if I wanted to sit down on the ground and open presents and stuff, I thought to myself, I really wish I made this A-line, and I'm more of a fan of A-line skirts, but it still worked just fine. It was a perfect dress. Now, I did wear this dress. I actually made this dress on Christmas Eve around 11 o'clock at night, and I managed to get it done because, like I said, it's a really simple dress. Like I said, I wore this Christmas morning. I love it. I sat down and made all my Harry Potter Lego castle sets that I got for Christmas wearing this dress, and it was super comfy, and I really enjoyed it. And then the unfortunate event occurred. So after Christmas,
to see more episodes like this, be sure to click the like button, subscribe to Akram's Ideas, and hit the bell icon to get notified of new episodes.
I washed the dress, and I was preparing to record a video for you guys talking to you about this dress. And when I pulled it out of the laundry, the side seams had shredded apart, and they had just come apart. Now, I finished this dress using pinking shears, which I've done in the past, but I guess I cut it too close or something. I'm not sure. Maybe again because of the arms being ever so slightly just too tight right there. Maybe it finally wore on it. I mean, it didn't feel like it was gonna bust when I wore it, but it busted, and it was even worse on the left side here. And I didn't know what I was going to do because it was just sort of unraveling. So I had in my thought, I'll make a gusset and fix this problem. Well, the gusset went horribly wrong because once I tried to put the gusset in, the dress just started ripping. It was like as if, you know, when you cut a strip of cotton and you can just keep tearing, it just started unraveling. The ends of it just keep stretching out. I tried to get the gusset in there, and it was just a mess up. And I really don't know what to do with the dress now because it's such a lovely dress. And I hope that you guys might have some suggestions because it's really just under the arm here, and I can't make it any less because then it would be too tight. I could cut off the arm and just stitch it up. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know if it's salvageable. I have enough fabric in my stash you know, if I lose one dress, it doesn't make a difference, but I put the effort of putting the trim on it and everything. And so I really just don't know. I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts if you have any suggestions of maybe refashioning this somehow to get it to work. The skirt still works just fine, so I guess I could always just keep it as a skirt. I'm not really sure. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Whether I can salvage it, whether I should do something with it, or whether I should just scavenge the trim and keep it for something else. I don't know. So with my Christmas dress not working out like I wanted to, I really wanted to share with you guys something that I was actually wearing. And I decided to go back through my stash and I found this raspberry red. Now, some may argue that it is on the pinker side of the red, but it is definitely a darker red, and it may be showing up a little bit later on screen, but it's a deeper raspberry red is the color that I'm calling it. And this is just a rib knit, and I decided to use it to make a dress that I've been meaning to make forever, which is the Nina Lee South Bank sweater dress. And here it is. I loves it. Dun dun dun. Now on this particular pattern, because of the size range, I had to go with the size 20, which is the largest size that I have on my pattern. I think they may have gone up to larger sizes now, but the pattern version I had only went up to size 20, and I decided to go with that version, and I think that was the perfect choice. If I made the 18, I probably would have still fit into it, but I wanted something to be kind of loose fitting and really casual, and this one fits the bill. I really like the dress, and Nina Lee patterns have sort of this 80s vibe to me, and I really like that look, having grown up in the 80s. This whole outfit, I've got it paired with a pair of leggings here, so this outfit is something that I totally would have worn in 2nd, 3rd grade. In fact, I think I may have had something just like this, but I just really like how this turned out. Like I said, I made no alterations. I made the full size 20. The only thing that I will say is that this is a lightweight rib knit, so the collar kind of droops. It would have been nice if I had gotten a little bit thicker fabric where the collar would have stood up a little bit more, and the sleeves are a little long, as you can see. The cuff piece passes my arm, so I really would have preferred it if I could at least maybe take off an inch or two, so that the cuff ends at my wrist. It does make it for a cozier outfit. And you know what? I could even craft some cuffs for a later version that have thumb holes. That would be kind of fun. But for right now, I think I was just kind of keeping it pulled up, kind of in that 80s vibe. And there's not much to say about this now, Spank. Like the Melrose, it's really simple to make, and that's one of the reasons that I chose it. Just 2 front and back pieces, a bottom band, collar, and cuffs and sleeves, so it's pretty easy to put together. I had some scrap fabric left over, so I made myself a little matching headband. I used the tutorial that the Stitch Sisters have on their channel to make a knotted headband. But yeah, this is the South Bank, and I'm super glad that I made this. I've been meaning to make it forever, and this kind of just pushed me to go ahead and whip it up overnight, simply because I was so torn up about the Christmas dress. And there you go. That is the story of my 2 red dresses for the Little Red Dress project. I'd love to know in the comments below if you participated in this challenge. What did you make? How did it go? And like I said earlier, if you have any suggestions of a way that I could try to salvage this dress, or anything that I can do to fix this, I'd really love to know as well. I hope you are having a great New Year's Eve, and look forward to chatting with you all in 2021. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Akram's Ideas, and thanks for watching.
Do that one more time. I am sharing. Let me do that again. Now, I really wanted something, as many of you probably are, none of that made sense. Let me start all that over.